I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly. How are you?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Okay. We're recording this very early
Yeah.
in the week.
Circumstances. I mean, it's beyond our control.
Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
Very busy, very important.
You know, the other thing is no one would know if you didn't say it.
Well, I have to say it because if something big happens between now and when it gets published, then we get a bunch of comments like,
okay.
Like, you know, I don't want to hex anyone, but so this will probably be a little shorter than normal. So prepare to be disappointed.
Welcome to my life, everyone.
Last week, we talked about professionalism with these healthcare workers, and that there was a lot of engagement because you and I had differing opinions about some things. I think we both agree that
people ain't shit,
and that they should be professional,
and they should be shit.
But you know, I think you're a little more lenient and empathetic than I am. I do think in certain realms there is no excuse for being unprofessional, and I think a lot of I think a lot of the people who sort of agreed with you were probably like you, like want excuses. No, I'm just kidding. I think that those are probably the more empathetic spirits, and then I think the people who,
again, though, I don't disagree that there are places where there's no excuse. I agree, but the thing is, it shouldn't mean the end of that person's professional career either.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're a pilot and you show up to work drunk, you shouldn't be a pilot anymore. And I think if you're a healthcare worker who,
I think that you have to atone. You should be It's okay. I think them being fired, the people that we were referencing, is the move that the employer should have made. But does that mean that they should never get hired again?
Well, but
within the context of this example.
I don't think I was implying that they should never work in health. Well, maybe I was, but I mean, my bigger issue was just that there seems to be a lack of, like, the expectation is not there anymore that people are professional. And I think there are always excuses. So then, like, we were flooded with anecdotes of people's own experiences. And I think they kind of are split down the middle because there are a lot of people who shared, like, they do work in the service industry and it is hard and sometimes they need a release. And so I think your comment about people being able to vent with their coworkers resonated with people.
Well, because I've been there. I mean, you have to have that. If you can't ever be realistic about your feelings, and sometimes in a morbid comedic way, sometimes, I mean, that's just being human. I don't know.
Well, but then, you know, I had shared that I've spent more time as a service worker than you did. And I think I found a way to get through it. And also, like, I feel like anyone who would comment on my work history would say that I had a good attitude and I was easy to work with. And that was more my focus. Like, I guess my main point, because I don't disagree with you, and I do think you're human and people can only take so much, right? Like, you can't be, but I also think there are certain personalities who probably shouldn't work in certain capacities. So I think that a big thing for me is personal integrity. I'm not going to have some stranger have me out here looking like I don't know how to stay composed, that I'm that affected by this, that you're going to get under my skin. To me, it's almost like I don't know, it's like a badge of honor to be able to remain professional.
Yeah, but did you start out the gate like that?
Well, yes, but to be fair, well, no, I'm not going where I think you think I'm going. I think, to be fair, like, my very first job was at McDonald's. And maybe it was just my store, but that manager who trained me, it was all about customer service.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about customer service, and you need to be staying busy. And if you see something, you know, take care of it. Don't walk by this table that's dirty and don't wipe it up. You know, the other thing is, when I was 16 and working at McDonald's, I didn't have a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I walk into my El Pollo Loco to get my street corn pollo bowl.
And some of those avocados that are ripe enough.
Number one. Number two, all of those trolls are on their phone.
That's everywhere though.
So it's like,
And I'm not saying that's an excuse, but it's been normalized.
well, I think that's my point, is that, to be fair, there were different circumstances, but I also think it's the employer's job to
Regulate,
but also treat people in a way that people aren't treated well.
No,
So it
they
is
aren't.
harder to feel motivated to do your best work. But that's where I would argue that it's about personal integrity and work ethic, because you're never going to go beyond this. Like, I don't know what some of these people think working these jobs where they give shitty service. Like, do you think I've been given opportunities because someone saw me doing my job and liked what they saw.
Well, see, that is the lesson that people often don't get to learn because they, haven't gotten over their own misery to the extent that, yes, you don't know the opportunity you might be given if you are doing the best job that you can.
Don't you agree?
I do.
Haven't
agree.
you been given opportunities
I
because
have.
people? I'm where I am today because people saw me and liked what they saw.
In a moment where I didn't have to be acting on my best behavior. Sometimes,
I've been offered a lot of things simply because people had worked with me and they liked. I've been offered things, like pretty serious things, that I'm not even qualified for, and that I would literally say I don't think I'd be a good fit for this, and people were willing to work around that because they liked my personality. They knew that I was a team player, that I'm not going to bring all this bullshit negativity to the thing. And you're right. I think that a lot of people don't get a chance to experience that, but it's also like, I don't know who's teaching the kids that you need to put your best foot forward whenever. We're all on camera. We're all being watched. You need to kind of be your best self.
But, think about somebody though that maybe, blowing their back out, doing the best they can, and always kind of being it's invisible, or they're not really rewarded, or other people that are less qualified for A, B, or C, that can wear you down as well.
Oh,
and
100%.
In working in customer service, whether it's in restaurants or retail, you it's not stated specifically, but you're expected to take abuse. You're expected to be abused and keep smiling. And your employers, we live in a culture where the customer is always right, and that shit's wrong. That's something that needs to be modified significantly. And you know what? It's not like that in many countries in Europe. Like when you go eat at a restaurant, the person they're not working for slave wages. They have a nice wage, so they're not licking your asshole to do for you to order your food. Like we have to get away from that model where the customer is always right. Should they be respected? Are they paying for a service? Yes, but that does not give anybody the right to demean you, to patronize you, to be condescending, to be rude. You should be turned away.
Well, I think in a fair market where people are getting paid properly, if a restaurant becomes known for giving shitty service and the food's bad, they're going to learn the hard way that people don't want that. Mm-hmm. So, but then that's not how things go now, because everyone's raggedy. The people who go into the store are raggedy. So then they don't care that the people serving them are raggedy sometimes. It's just like, it's a really weird experience to be in a space where, like, it's like going into Best Buy. It just feels like a bunch of like zombies in there. Like,
yeah. Well, that industry's changed quite a bit too.
It's like everyone working there doesn't seem to care. The people who are in there seem clueless. Like shopping, it's Best Buy is a really weird place to be.
When you're talking about like restaurants, I think it's so strange because the more expensive places where they're adamant that you don't get to make any modifications to what's on the menu. This is it, and people just kind of expect like that's okay, but yet you go to some mom and pop diner and want to recreate the menu and then are rude as hell when you're at some Chinese restaurant and they won't give you a burger.
But I don't, we already talked about this at length, so I don't want to go on too long. I did want to end with I have my Zoom set to capture my conversation before I start a meeting. Uh-huh. And then it will send me an email with a summary of like what was said. Mm-hmm. And so recently I got a meeting summary, like a quick recap. And this is what Zoom clocked me. It said Joseph expressed frustration about people acting like martyrs and not caring about certain issues, emphasizing that many individuals have spent their adult lives being raggedy and slutty without receiving any constructive feedback.
Raggedy and slutty.
So Zoom got me, gal. But we'll move on from this subject. Ultimately, I think we both think that people should be treated with respect.
And I think that
and people deserve to be respected.
We deserve, and that how are we ever going to receive grace if we don't have the ability to give it ourselves?
But I would also say that I think for those, and I don't know, are people who are just shitty at their jobs, like, do they know they are? Like, do they know they have bad attitudes and no one likes them? And if you are aware of that, I would encourage you to try to turn a new page.
But there's something kind of morbid and gratifying about it too. Like I think there's also a point of no return where it's just like, I'm so miserable here. I don't give a flying. Yeah, like.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I would challenge people to actually make an effort to show up and have a good attitude, be helpful, pleasant. I feel like if you're past the point of no return, when you start to feel that energy, because people react, people give you the energy they get. So
Yeah.
I think if all of a sudden you come in with a smile and say good morning, ask how you can help, be proactive, laugh. I mean, that's probably my biggest asset is I try to keep things light and be engaged. And I think that people, in a professional setting, yes. Not at home, but like, not where I pay bills, but like, in a professional setting, try it. Just try to be better. Because I think a lot of times people act like, well, I don't get paid enough to deal with this. And it's like, well, actually, you're probably expending more energy being raggedy than if you were to just kind of like, I mean, you are accepting money per hour. So for the hours you're there, maybe just do your job and try to be nice about it. And you'll see that people's attitudes towards you may change. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge, like an experiment. Or like if you work in the service industry, all these people on Instagram and TikTok making these videos about how shitty customers are and how they don't tip. I always think like, I bet you're not a great server because you can't be like a good server and not get tipped.
I don't know.
Because if that's the case, why are you working there? You need to quit the Piggly Wiggly if you're like the star server and you don't get tipped. That's crazy, right? Like something in the milk is not clean. The math is not mathing. I think that people need to take a step back and be honest.
See, no, like what's that film we just watched that was Boiling Point? You don't know. You don't know people's bullshit that might be straight up rude because they don't like gay people or black people or
but in Boiling Point, we don't know that those people didn't tip. That's what I'm talking about. I think sometimes people skip to the part where they feel shortchanged, and it's like I think there's an entire narrative that we're not hearing because
shortchanged. Like we all want that service where they're smiley and they seem to care about what they're doing with us and make us feel warm and glowing. That shit takes energy.
But I mean, in any job, like I know my shortcomings. And even though I'm like a star person, it's like, there are times when it's like I get feedback about very specific things mm-hmm. that I know are an issue for me. Mm-hmm. And so because I'm aware of my shortcomings, when I do get that feedback or when there is a little friction or frustration because of something I know I'm responsible for, it doesn't hit me as hard as I think some other people. Because some other people, when they get feedback or there's a little tension, it's like they take it so personally. And it's like, are you not aware that you kind of have a tendency to do that or make that mistake? And I think self-awareness and making a bigger effort and also taking responsibility for the fact that you are actively accepting money in exchange for your time. And if this is not the best way to use your time, then I don't know whose problem that is ultimately. In a perfect world, systemically there are a lot of changes we could make, but that's probably not going to happen in your lifetime. And so you can be that person that sits around and just shouts into the void, or you can I don't know, maybe like take steps to make a better life for yourself, not be so miserable. And
Again, easier said than done.
well, I don't know, like
Easier
you have
said
a
than done.
2-hour commute and all you do is scream and fight about it. And it's like, to go to a job that pays minimum wage, you can get that same job across the street and walk to work. And what would your quality of life be if you went from a 2-hour commute to a 3-minute walk?
Well, yes,
And you make the same money.
That's a specific scenario, yeah. But
well, I don't know if it's that specific. Like, a lot of people, clap back at me about like it's not that easy. And it's like, from the looks of you, I don't think you have like a 6-figure job. So it seems like you could easily get something else. You can go from working to the grocery store to the hardware store. I mean, I don't know, like, but that's where people start calling me elitist and privileged.
Whatever, that's not worth getting into. But no, I think the thing is, with great sacrifice and discomfort, those changes need to. That's how those changes are made. Nobody's going to hand you anything, and even if you're a person that has had some things handed to you, like the things you want are just going to fall in your lap. So yes, when you have a job that's exhausting, it's so difficult to try to find another one, to go out and do interviews, to submit resumes, even in an online environment. That's still exhausting to do that, but that's the only way it's going to happen.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the effort has to happen.
For some people, yeah, it is more complicated. But I'm saying for some, it's not. Or
we all have a personal context, though, that can seem insurmountable for some, and if you don't have a support system, if you don't have anybody kind of that's your cheerleader, that it's daunting. It just is.
It is, but it can't be. It like that can't be the excuse to spend the rest of your, like, at some point something has to be done. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
but I agree with you.
It can't define you, and it can't be the excuse that you use forever.
Yeah, but I agree with you. It's easier said than done.
And with age comes wisdom.
Okay, moving on. Sigourney Weaver has a new movie with Mads Mikkelsen.
She does, and I can't believe that I was not at the premiere, which was 24 hours ago. But
the movie's called Dust Bunny, and the trailer is out.
Yes, and I'm very excited.
And it looks pretty cool. We watched an interview with her and the director,
Brian Fuller. Mm-hmm.
And the director is an interesting character.
He's a homosexual.
But I mean, of course, I'm gonna watch the movie, but it actually does look pretty interesting.
It's a
Dust Bunny,
a Sigourney December, because the new Avatar will be out that month too.
And I'm gonna read a headline. Charlie Sheen says sexual encounters with men started amid crack use. You mean, and in quotes, so what? Some of it was weird. A lot of it was effing fun. And then I read the article, and it doesn't actually it doesn't go into any detail about anything.
We don't talk about Corey Haim either?
So I don't know. I mean, at this point, Charlie Sheen could say anything, and it's like, okay.
All right. What is it? I want to hear.
I actually don't want to hear, like I don't want him to be a part of the LGBTQ community, so he can keep this to himself.
I mean, he's a smelly crackhead. I want to see Martin's face reading that headline.
Oh, God. And then because we're recording this pretty close after the last one, there's not much in the restaurant section except that you made birria pasta.
I did.
It was very good.
Yeah,
because you brought pasta from Italy.
Yeah, I did.
And then you were like, well, what should I do with it? And I'm like, put birria on it, which is basically like ragu.
You said you wanted ragu.
Yeah.
And then we kind of came up with that together. Yes.
So it actually turned out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was, what do you call that when you mix two?
Fusion?
It's a fusion dish.
A Mexitil. Mexitil fusion. Okay, projects of interest. There's going to be a Silence of the Lambs series.
Well, speaking of Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, Dust Bunny's his directorial debut.
And isn't Mads the Dr.
Hannibal?
Yeah.
Hannibal Dr. Lecter. And Zendaya apparently is being eyed to play Clarice.
That's exciting.
So I never watched Hannibal. You did.
Yeah, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I saw you watching clips of it. What's his name? Drove me crazy.
Yeah, he's the husband of Claire Danes.
What's his name? Hugh Dancy.
Hugh Dancy.
A very handsome man, but also like that character is so angsty.
I live vicariously through these serial killers. Maybe one day I'll partake. But until then,
Don't
I
start
could.
with me.
Well, people get what they deserve. But the thing about we'll talk about that later. Anyway, I really liked Hannibal. And what's the one with Jonathan Groff?
Mindhunter.
I liked Mindhunter too.
No, I never finished that.
Yeah. And because
that's Fincher.
Was season 2 about the Atlanta killer?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. It was so good to me. Okay. And then Scary Movie 6.
Well, that's just because Regina and Anna are coming back in the weigh-ins.
I'm very excited about that.
Apparently they're going to spoof Sinners and Longlegs and Get Out.
Yes. Yes to all of it. And then something by Lulu Wang.
Yeah, Lulu Wang. I never saw that series she did with Nicole Kidman, Expats, but her first film I thought was pretty damn good, The Farewell in 2018. So she's doing a new film, and Lucy Liu and Charles Melton are in it. You know Mr. Melton from May December.
No, he was in something more recent.
He had a small role though,
but I can't recall what it is.
Anyway.
Done. All right. Unfortunately, there are entries in the obituary section. Stuart Gregg died. He was a British production designer who won 3 Academy Awards.
Yeah, well, he did a bunch of. Did he do all of the Harry Potter movies? Not all of them, quite a few. But he won 3 Oscars. His first for Gandhi, which, can you believe I've still never seen? I just am never in the mood to watch that. Dangerous Liaisons, which is magnificent, and The English Patient. Also nominated for The Mission, which you've seen with De Niro, and I think we have a podcast on that. And then The Elephant Man, which we have a review of that.
Well, we reviewed the first Harry Potter.
We did.
I've never seen any of the other ones. People always say, you're going to have to pay me to watch Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
I've only ever seen the first 2 Harry Potter. I think I'm waiting for the time.
It's going to have to be Patreon. I'm not watching these on my own, like on my own accord. But then the problem too is, like, I watched that first one 3 years ago, so I damn sure don't remember.
It was longer than that because we were living in Hawthorne.
All I remember about the first one isn't Daniel Radcliffe like sleeping in a closet? I feel like that's something I remember. Anyway, well, goodbye to Mr. Craig. He was 83 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then Polly Holliday died, who I'm very familiar with from the show Alice. She played Flo, and her catchphrase was "kiss my grits." Mm-hmm. And I remember saying that as a kid, and then people calling me a sissy. Trauma.
Is she also in Gremlins?
Yes. Oh my God. She's the lady who gets my sister, every time she sees the clip of the mean old banker lady flying out the window with her electric chair, she starts screaming.
And then in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Who is she in that?
She's the one that's interviewing Robin Williams to see if he should get custody of his kids.
Oh.
During the divorce. She's that, she's good at playing dry old ladies.
Dry old ladies.
But she was always funny. Yeah.
Okay. The secret movie this week was your choice.
It was.
And you chose the 1984 American mockumentary, This Is Spinal Tap, directed by Rob Reiner.
Yep.
Okay. Well, why did you choose this movie?
Well, I've never seen it, strangely, and the sequel comes out this week, which the strange part is I don't know that we'll even have time to watch the sequel.
Yeah.
But now we will be prepared for with the homework that we've done. But yeah, I've just never, ever seen this film, and I'm a huge Christopher Guest fan. I am a Rob Reiner fan somewhat as a director, I think, because after this film, he made 2 fantastic Stephen King adaptations, including Stand By Me and Misery. I think some of his filmography is a little uneven, but and then Michael McKean, it's Fran Drescher. There's a lot of people I love in it.
Okay, I'm very familiar with the movie poster and seeing it at the video store as an adolescent. I had never seen it. I was 100% sure Spinal Tap was a real band.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I really thought Spinal Tap was a band. But yeah, I had never seen it. Of course, I also like Christopher Guest, but I did not know what to expect. What is this movie about? Spinal Tap, one of England's loudest bands, which I thought was very funny when they said that, is chronicled by film director Marty DeBurgi on what proves to be a fateful tour. I thought this was quite funny.
I did too.
It does feel like it runs out of steam because the movie is very short. It's like 80 minutes, and it's like, okay, I think y'all ran out of shit to do. But I was having a lot of fun for the bulk of it.
Same.
So basically, we're introduced to this filmmaker, Marty DeBurgi, who's played by the director, Rob Reiner. And he's saying that he's going to make a documentary about Spinal Tap, this British heavy metal band.
You also know him from All in the Family.
Yeah, he played the daughter's husband. But he's going to document them launching their US tour to support their new album, Smell the Glove. So this band, they were moderately successful in the 60s and 70s, but now in the 80s, they're like clinging on to any relevance. And their music is, I mean, the lyrics are absurd.
Very sexual.
They have these like ridiculous stage antics, and their music is kind of like bombastic.
One of their hits though is Stonehenge.
Oh, we're gonna go. Well, we have to go through the song titles and then some of the lyrics because they're very funny to me. But the tour is just a series of disasters because some of the dates are canceled because of poor ticket sales. As a result, the venues get smaller and smaller, and ultimately like they get combined with like puppet shows, and then at one point they're like performing for like an Air Force base. And then to try to reignite their image because one of the band members' girlfriends is too much in the mix, which we'll get to these characters, but she sort of comes up with this idea, and they end up doing like Stonehenge.
Yes.
But the dimensions of the prop get messed up. And instead of being 18 feet, they're 18 inches. But other mishaps just kind of keep the show from really doing what it needs to do. And then the band dynamics are on a decline, which ultimately results in one of them leaving. Combined with the fact that their new album gets censored. And
the album cover, which we'll get to, and the retailers that refuse to sell it because it's definitely a time capsule, but that sort of really affects their decline. But then in the end, after the one band member leaves, in the final moments, he comes back and says, hey, one of our songs is like a hit in Japan, so we have the opportunity to go tour there. Sex Farm.
So the band reunites for a comeback overseas. The end.
Yep.
Okay. So the band members, Christopher Guest plays Nigel
Tufnell.
And he's the guitarist. We get him because at one point he says like everyone loves him for his like guitar solos.
His shirtless guitar solo.
And then we see him doing his guitar solo, and I don't know what he thought he was doing. It's like Maria Bamford talking about painting watercolors with your feet. Like
he's
what?
mashing instruments against one another. In fact, it just reminded me of something Denzel Washington did in Highest to Lowest, where he's putting the picture frames up to each other.
It's that nonsensical. Then you have Michael McKean, who's playing David St. Hubbins, and he's like the lead vocalist, and Harry Shearer as Derek Smalls as the bassist, and you recognized him.
Oh yeah, he's a character.
I know him from one thing as an older man.
Yeah,
but and then the joke is because you have the guitarist, the bassist, the drummer. The joke is that all of their drummers mysteriously die. But they're like, there's no need to investigate.
And they have Ed Begley Jr. is one of them because they all have. He's John Stumpy Peeps, and then there's another one called Eric Stumpy Joe Childs.
Oh my god!
because Christopher Guest utilized a lot of these people again. Of course, Ed Begley Jr. Harry Shearer is in a couple of his movies. I think the one that sticks out for me is For Your Consideration. But
And then who's the one with the voice who just died recently? He's in this too.
the one with the voice.
He's in all the Christopher Guest movies.
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard.
Yeah.
He's in this
Yes,
as well.
He's the colonel.
He has a great voice.
And he's exactly the same then.
So these songs, I need to pull up the soundtrack. Where do I find it?
My favorite was Sex Farm because the Sex Farm woman, I'm gonna plow your bean fields.
Oh no! Oh yes, that one's a good one. But my favorite one was Big Bottom.
Oh yeah, Big Bottom.
Because the lyrics are,
which reminds me of Queen's Fat Bottom Girls.
Oh my god! Let me take a sip of water. The lyrics are, the bigger the cushion, the sweeter the pushin'. That's what I said. The looser the waistband, the deeper the quicksand. Or so I've read. My baby fits me like a flesh tuxedo. I love to sink her with my pink torpedo. That's a poet. Whoever wrote that, that's a poet. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
Sylvia Plath couldn't write that.
There are a lot of... funny moments in this, but yeah, songs like Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight. Okay. And I thought that the music was kind of convincing.
Well, yeah, because all of them are pretty adept at playing music, so it doesn't feel so far off center as you think it would.
So some of these themes, like satire of rock excess, like they all have big egos with the ridiculous lyrics and the theatrics.
Well, and by that time, because this 83 or 84, sorry, by that time there were already some pretty major rock documentaries.
Oh, like what?
The Last Waltz was a big one. That I'm thinking of the top of my head, but yeah, that was out again. The Dylan doc from Pennebaker that I referenced to you earlier today, like those kind of things were already happening. So it's speaking to something directly already.
People talk about the real like mockumentary realism. I didn't feel like this was shot like a doc. Did you? This felt like a film.
This felt like a film. But then I'm so familiar with these people like Rob Reiner. I mean, his face by then in 84 after All in the Family, like there's not...
Well, but I'm saying, like, I don't even think this like is in the style of a documentary. Like they don't have sit downs where there are some sit downs where they're talking like someone's asking them questions, but I felt like I was watching a narrative feature about a rock band and their decline, which is another big theme, is sort of the nature of fame, because we get flashbacks to some of the funnier moments as well, or when we see them performing from the 60s and 70s, because we even talk about their look, but we flash back to them looking like they're in the 60s and 70s. But in the 80s, oh my goodness. Christopher Guest, he's cute, and he has dark hair and it's long with a center part. It works better, but Michael McKean,
oh, that hair's red
with that blonde, wavy with the bangs, it's just sitting too far forward. But he also is cute.
When was Twisted Sister?
Oh, it's giving, yeah. Well, the lead singer of Twisted Sister had way better hair than Michael McKean's character.
But what year were they? Oh, they were on in the 70s. Okay, so he's kind of giving me that a little bit. Or maybe what's his name from The Who?
So we have some funny details, are like how the drummers are always like sort of dying from these mysterious accidents, like choking, or one of them died from spontaneous combustion. And then we talked about the Stonehenge disaster with those miniature stones. But then in the beginning, we get a moment where Christopher Guest is talking to some interviewer about his amps. And he's making a big deal about, or I think it's a documentarian.
He's talking to Rob Reiner.
Yeah, he's making a big deal about how his amps go to 11.
Yeah.
And most amps go to 10. And him it's just very clearly demonstrating that he's a dullard. And I thought it was so funny. Some other notes. Oh my gosh. One of their albums is called Intravenous DeMilo.
And on the album art, that is such a. That reminded me of Fears of a Black Hat. I don't know if you remember that film, but there's a band or a group called Gorillas in the Midst.
No.
Gueril. That's what that reminded me of.
Then we hear some reviews of like their music, and one of the reviews said, "What day did the Lord make Spinal Tap? And could he have rested on that day too?"
Oh, I love a bitchy critic.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So their manager, who has a pretty major part, who plays the manager?
He's dead now.
Oh.
Why am I?
I don't remember his character.
Tony Hendra. Ian is the character.
Oh, Ian is the manager.
But Tony Hendra is his name, yeah.
I thought he looked like the boy from the movie The Mask, Eric Stoltz, in The Mask. Not because Eric Stoltz is very handsome. I mean, in The Mask.
The Mask. Mm-hmm.
Eric, yeah, he looks like the kid from The Mask mixed with Fortune Feimster.
Oh, yeah, he's a little unfortunate looking. Yeah.
Okay, their new album, The Controversy. So the publicist for Polymer Records, which is who they're signed to, their main contact is Fran Drescher, who looks fabulous.
Beautiful, yes.
Yeah, smoking for dear life. And she's explaining to them, like, you guys are just doing all the wrong things. And your album cover is like the final straw because it's sexist. It's a woman who's like bound and gagged and on all fours with a leash around her and some man with a black glove caressing her. Like, it's offensive. And the fact that you don't see it's offensive is a problem. And you know what? You don't have to see it's a problem because retailers are not going to stock it. Specifically, the two biggest ones, Sears and Kmart, which made me feel sad.
Yeah, because those are both.
Because I used to love Kmart.
The Martha Stewart collection. And Fran Drescher reports to the head of the label is Sir Dennis Eatonhog, played by, I think we only really see him in one scene, but it's Patrick Macney, who is in one of my favorite werewolf movies. He's the leader of the pack in The Howling.
I forget who said this, but one of these dummies goes, "It's such a fine line between stupid and clever."
Michael McKean does.
No, it's not, sir. I think that's actually the opposite of what clever means, but okay.
That seems a very prescient statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even mention the whole Stonehenge debacle. The production person who made them is Angelica Houston.
Also looking lovely.
She looks really nice.
What's her character name? Polly Douche?
Yes.
She's so upset too because the manager thinks that she's just about a model and she's like, no, this is it. And he's screaming. He's like, "These are supposed to be 20 feet high."
And she's like, these are the specs you gave me. And then he had given her a drawing on a napkin and they wrote 18 with like the quotation, which means inches. So she's like, I mean.
So the way around that, because they want it to be a set piece on stage, is they have little people dancing around it and they're still taller than the
damn still. Yeah. Oh my God. So stupid. So Michael McKean's character, David St. Hubbins, he has a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she, I guess I would say she's supposed to be like kind of like giving Yoko Ono vibes.
Yeah, June Chadwick playing Janine Pettibone.
Like she's getting a little too comfortable, like giving her feedback to the band.
Well, and Nigel is her nemesis, Christopher Guest.
And Christopher Guest doesn't like her ass.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, Christopher Guest, well, no, it's their manager because he's also kind of frustrated with her. And at one point he says, "I'm not doing this with a woman who dresses like an Australian nightmare." And then the scene with Fred Willard, he's like the Air Force Base, like Colonel
mm-hmm.
who's organizing this party, and he has hired Spinal Tap to perform. And the performance doesn't go well, but before it even gets started, he's telling them, "I need you to perform, I need you to be on stage at 2100 hours." And then one of the, I think it's the bassist who says, "Well, what time is it now?" And he's like, "Well, 2030." And then that man goes, "Oh, so like in 50 hours?"
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Shit like that is so funny to me. And then learning that Sex Farm is a hit in Japan.
Oh God, Sex Farm Woman.
Can we find D- uh, did you have lyrics for that?
No, but I just remember the plowing of the bean
The
field.
plowing of the bean field.
Because the audience is so turned off. Also, the band members all stuff their pants because they're wearing
That's
these.
right. Because they went, oh my gosh, because they go through security.
And
And
then
the most beautiful woman,
Gloria Gifford.
Gloria Gifford, stunning,
Mm-hmm.
is the security agent who discovers the cucumber.
Wrapped in
Yeah.
tinfoil.
But I recognized her. And what did we say we just saw her
We
in?
just watch her in Vice Versa.
That's right.
plays-
That Freaky Friday version, the male version of Freaky Friday.
Yeah, she plays Judge Reinhold's secretary who's surprised when he becomes kind.
Because he switched with Fred Savage.
Yeah.
Okay. So this movie has a big cult following,
Yes.
but it wasn't a big box office success.
No, which is why I'm curious to see the sequel, but I guess we might have to wait. Oh, and Paul Schaefer is in it as Artie.
That's right.
Fufkin.
Yeah, he's like a local. Isn't he like a local PR person or something?
But I'm like, God, who is that?
But apparently, this film inspired Best in Show and The
Mhm.
Office.
Okay, sure.
So that, I mean, I can see how this was really influential to some people.
Oh yeah, and I think Christopher Guest borrowed a lot of his later style from this.
You know, I'm kind of glad that a lot of the films that I didn't discover until much later in life, like as an adult, I'm glad, because I fear that had I seen them,
You would have dismissed them because you didn't understand.
exactly. So, you know, it's fun to discover some of these and know that, like, wow, I do really like them.
Yes, you're also familiar with Rob Reiner's a very special film to my youth, The Princess Bride, because
Well,
Christopher Guest is in that too.
Well, my friend
Carrie Elwes,
is in it,
and our other friend Robin Wright.
Well, she's more your friend, I think.
Oh,
I don't really know her.
Claire
like
Underwood.
Well, I love House of Cards.
Yes, I do too.
Claire, I don't know.
I love Claire.
I did too. Well, I love the show, but I think I was Team Frank.
Okay,
I was Team
your
Frank.
problem.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
You
the
see?
problem.
You see? Evidence.
And apparently, up to 11 is like a phrase people use.
Yes.
I feel like I need to start. But then people just look at me like I'm crazy.
Up to
And then this film was selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. So that tracks to me.
Very intellectual indeed. And there's other cameos in here too. What's his name? Dana Carvey and Billy Crystal are mimes.
That's
that
right.
Show up early on.
That's right.
And like I immediately clocked Billy Crystal. But yeah, it's just what an odd little film. Because, you know, thinking back then, there was no precedent really.
No.
For a mockumentary.
And to be a feature debut.
It's not a debut. Oh wait, yeah,
it's not Rob Reiner's debut.
Yeah, it is a debut. Sorry, yeah,
it's impressive. I think it's well put together. It's well written.
There's an earlier short, maybe, but yeah,
yeah. You know, I do think it, for being so short, it does feel like it runs out of steam a little bit. But that might have just been like resources and timing. But I did really enjoy this. What would you give This Is Spinal Tap?
3.5.
Yeah, I think it's very good. I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be an interesting week because there's a lot happening.
Yeah, and we're going to be late on some things
because there's a lot of traveling happening.
There's a lot, but both of us going to different places. But next week, yeah, I mean, we have to see it separately. But Him is, I think, the big deal next week.
Yeah.
And I forget what else, but.
And we have some Patreon. I forgot to mention I know on our Patreon recently we will have dropped a few things by the time this comes out.
Yes, we're playing catch up.
Human Traffic.
Because I was in Venice, yeah.
I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan movie.
Mm-hmm. The Fall.
Ow,
the cat's biting me.
I'm really looking forward to watching the next part of The Thornbirds.
Oh, yes. I'm glad that I have held you in suspense.
Yeah.
Although Barbara Stanwyck's dead now. So
I know, but I can't wait to see what
Ralph de Bricassard.
Yeah, Father de Bricassard and his bullshit. His old child molester bullshit.
Maggie.
But I think that's all we have.
Mm-hmm.
Are you reading anything?
I'm reading Vineland by Pynchon in anticipation of P.T. Anderson's new movie, which I'm very excited for. That will also be late on because you'll be gone the week that the press screenings happen. Well, no, actually, press screenings are next week. I'll be gone, and then you'll be gone when it's being released. So we'll be a weekend late.
Oh, well, since I'm not reading anything, I will say that I've been listening to the Pet Shop Boys, and I was trying to think, what is my favorite Pet Shop Boys song?
Oh, I have a favorite.
Well, I think it's either, so there's one that I cannot remember the name, but it's about the friend and AIDS, and it just escaped me. But I also, of course, West End Girls.
You Were Always on My Mind.
You Were Always on My Mind. Or it's not called You Were All. It's the one that is like that.
Yeah, I love that song. That was used very effectively in All of Us Strangers.
Yes.
My favorite though is It's a Sin.
I try to get into that, and I was bumping it on the way to the gym the other day, and I don't think it's
really. I listen to that all the time.
I like the Pop Kids better,
and
that one kind of makes me cry. Actually,
yeah, they have some very emotional. Gina Davis is strangely in the music video for It's a Sin.
And then also they did the Ab Fab theme song, and I like that one too.
Did you? I mean, I'm surprised you don't like Erasure, because whenever I think of Pet Shop Boys, I usually also slide into Erasure.
Well, let me add that to my little listening party.
I've sent you Erasure songs usually when you're gone.
I don't know.
And I'm like, I was thinking of you, and then you make fun of me.
Well, because you're probably doing something you shouldn't be doing, then you feel guilty.
No.
And then you want to fill me with platitudes.
What platitudes?
To try to get your soul right, but
no.
You'll pay in the end. It's fine. No need to pay me in installments now. Okay, I think
Joseph's layaway love.
Yeah, that'd be a good chapter in my book.
For how stingy you are?
Wow.
Okay.
Ta-ta.